The Arizona Cardinals need to go all in on Keenan Allen. Now, this isn't one of those panic moves because the Arizona Cardinals didn't go after George Pickens, and now I don't know what the heck the Steelers are doing personally, but that's besides the point. The Arizona Cardinals are in need of an impactful player on the wide receiving core, a veteran that can definitely very well help them out in the 2025 season. Let's go and dive right into exactly why the Cardinals should go after Keenan Allen to put that cherry on top of this already amazing 2025 offseason. Let's get started. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back into another video. Definitely do me a huge favor, smack up that like button and subscribe for more Arizona Cardinals content. On this channel, we're covering the Arizona Cardinals news, breaking news, conversational pieces, everything surrounding your favorite team. So subscribe it up. It's absolutely for free. But today we're going to be diving into why I feel like the Arizona Cardinals need to go in on an all-in move like Keenan Allen. Now, there's a lot of Cardinal fans out there that just would love to get a veteran wide receiver in this wide receiving core in general, whether that's going to be Keenan Allen, Amari Cooper, or maybe even Gabe Davis, which has just been released by the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of Gabe Davis myself, but, if the Cardinals had any wide receiver, I feel like that would be something to obviously get excited about. But to add that cherry on top of the ice cream on an already good 2025 offseason, I feel like adding a wide receiver, a veteran wide receiver, would be the move for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, I want to go ahead and give some love over to the NFL Network that actually dropped a article talking about the best available free agents and who the best fits are. Now, of course, Keenan Allen was linked on over to the Arizona Cardinals, and we're going to be diving into this article right now and seeing exactly what it's saying. So, of course, multiple different free agents available. They linked a lot of different, players to different teams, but Keenan Allen's what we're really going to focus on here today, and this is exactly what NFL.com ended up saying. There are plenty of teams who need a veteran help at wide receiver, but Allen fits in Arizona because of the Cardinals must unlock all the potential in Marvin Harrison Jr., who was the 4th overall pick in last year's draft. Arizona leaned on young players like Michael Wilson and Greg George to work with Harrison at receiver in 2024. That's not going to get it done. Not for the team that displayed flashes of being closer to a playoff team than anybody imagined at this time last year. The 33-year-old Allen isn't the same player he was in his prime. He had 4 100-catch seasons in the previous 5 years before being traded to Chicago in 2024, but he still knows how to operate from the slot. He delivered solid production with the Bears, 70 receptions, 744 yards, and 7 touchdowns, and he can give quarterback Kyler Murray another dependable target to go along with tight end Trey McBride. Now, we're going to be diving into this because obviously the link is uncanny. It just makes sense. It makes sense for the Cardinals to go all in on a wide receiver, especially one like Keenan Allen that could still do it in the NFL, right? So we're not talking about a guy that, just kind of coasted in Chicago. No, he put up solid production numbers, just like it said in the article, right? We were talking about Keenan Allen. He had 70 receptions, 744 yards, and 7 touchdowns. That is very, very productive for being the veteran, the older guy in the wide receiving core that was, added youth, right? With Roma Dunze as well as DJ Moore. Now, they actually got their own numbers in the Chicago Bears offense as well. Roma Dunze had 734 yards, 3 touchdowns, while DJ Moore, which probably was their number one, he ended up getting 966 yards and 6 touchdowns. So in terms of the wide receivers, Keenan Allen led them in touchdown catches, right? So what can we get from a Keenan Allen if the Arizona Cardinals did decide to go all in and bringing him in? Now, he's probably the one of the top 2 or top 3 best available wide receivers right now. Actually, he's probably the best one, if I'm going to be real. He's probably the best one that's going to be available right now in the open market for the Cardinals to call his agent and say, hey, what would it take to get it done? Now, obviously, they probably want to work him out first because he is 33 years old right now. He's seen as a veteran, so maybe there's a little bit of concern there. But like I said, he still has done very, very good in terms of production-wise with the Chicago Bears, and that's with Eberflus to be the head coach in the beginning of the season, right? So let's talk about Keenan Allen. What can he bring to the Arizona Cardinals team, right? Now, I'm going to reference a lot of what this article said because I think that's a very, very smart thing. Keenan Allen coming to the Cardinals, or for them to potentially reach out for him and sign an agreement and coming into 2025 would be nothing short of spectacular. And that would be the cherry on top of the ice cream to cap the 2025 offseason, which has already been pretty darn good for Monty Ossenfort in this Arizona Cardinal regime. But Keenan Allen is a very, very, very good, dependable. He's got good, dependable hands. He's still a really good route runner, and he doesn't need to play on the outside. That's what people don't understand, right? When I ended up putting this on X and Twitter, I basically said that this would be pretty much that cherry on top of the ice cream to cap this, good 2025 offseason for the Cardinals. A lot of the negativity, or a lot of the negatives that I've seen out there from Keenan Allen, was people saying, oh, no, we need a burner, right? But Cardinals need a burner is what we need. At the end of the day, the Cardinals just need a dependable wide receiver that's going to be able to catch the ball for their quarterback in Kyler Murray, right? Why not have a veteran that's being able to be as savvy as he is, right? Another security blanket potentially in the slot for Kyler Murray, right? And on top of that, he's over 6 foot, right? Like, what are the Cardinals going to do? Are we going to roll into 2025 with pretty much the same wide receiving core where a lot of these guys are very, very young? And I mean, I guess if you want to throw Zay Jones in there being the veteran guy, Zay Jones has had really good productive years in the beginning part of his career, but has definitely declined. Now, is that based off opportunity? It probably is, right? Keenan Allen is going to be the guy that's going to be that safety blanket in the slot whenever you have three wide receivers, a three wide receiver formation, right? In the offense. So I get the security blanket's most likely going to be Trey McBride being the tight end, but why not add another dependable, solid, good hands, good route runner, savvy vet for your quarterback, which let's be honest, I think there was a little bit of a struggle when it came down to throwing players or wide receivers open in the middle of the field, if it wasn't Trey McBride. Like, let's be real. Like, Greg Dortch, I really do like Greg Dortch, and we've talked nothing but glowing remarks about Greg Dortch since he's become, a Cardinal, right? But I think it's kind of now time to get another slot guy in this team, but does got the ability to have, obviously, I don't know. I'm not gonna say taller, but yeah, over 6 foot, a taller target when it comes down to the slot position. So Keenan Allen, I feel like should be a real good move, or a move that the Cardinals should go after. And now here's the I guess the big thing out there, right? Like the caveat, right? Like, what do the Cardinals pay him, right? Because if you look at the contract history on what Keenan Allen has been getting paid so far with the Bears, he was getting paid $18 million base salary, right? And he had a roster bonus of $5 million. Now, keep in mind, he was traded to the Bears, so he probably was trying to find some sort of negotiation with, the Chargers. It didn't work out, so they ended up trading him over to the Bears, and he still had a productive year with the Bears. Now, that was his last year under contract. Now he's sitting as a free agent. We're sitting in May. We're sitting in May right now. So he's not signed with any team. He's not retired. He probably still wants to play in the NFL. So that's only benefits the Arizona Cardinals to go all in and say, hey, would you sign a vet minimum? Now, if he doesn't sign a vet minimum, then we might be in a really weird situation where I'm not paying Keenan Allen $18 million to play in the slot and not be, the number 2 wide receiver. Now, but obviously it depends on what Monty Ossenfort decides to do. But if he's going to accept the vet minimum, or even a little above a vet minimum on a 1-year deal, I think this is a no-brainer for the Arizona Cardinals to go after him, because we are in need of a wide receiver that can give more dependability, another separator of the ball, another great hands type of wide receiver in the slot. And I think Keenan Allen can be that guy for you for the Arizona Cardinals. Now, for the people out there that are saying Amari Cooper, I don't think Amari Cooper is going to flourish in the slot like Keenan Allen will. I think he's going to be more of an outside guy, which will force Michael Wilson to be in the slot. And I don't know about working, kind of experimenting on things like that, especially if this is going to be a playoff year for the Arizona Cardinals. I would rather get a guy that is good with the slot and can very well do good things in the slot. So why not bring in a Keenan Allen, in my personal opinion, and then go ahead and keep Michael Wilson on the outside and Marvin Harrison Jr. on the other side as well. So I think this is the move for the Arizona Cardinals here. Now, as of right now, the last time I looked, the Cardinals do have upwards of about $32.1 million in open cap. And now there's a couple contracts that haven't been in play yet, but that's still a lot of money. That's still a lot of money for the Arizona Cardinals to, potentially bring in more talent. Now, the biggest, I guess, holes right now for the Cardinals fan base is going to be the wide receiving core. And the right-hand side of the line, right? Now, the more and more you wait, the less and less opportunities you're going to get to bring in big, impactful key players to your roster. This might be the move that I feel like a lot of Cardinal fans can very, very much get behind, right? And you also got to think about it as well. And I don't want to think negative, but you got to think about this, especially if you're the general manager. The Arizona Cardinals are a injury away from not being a very, very good wide receiving core. Like, they're an injury away from that, right? And I don't want to be put in a situation where we're going to be scrambling with trying to upgrade a specific guy from the practice squad or sign somebody off the streets when Keenan Allen and Amari Cooper and all these other guys are not available, right? Guys that have been doing it in the NFL for quite some time. I don't want to think that way in terms of injury, but you kind of have to in terms of being a general manager. You got to think of all the bases. So right now, the guys that I'm very confident with our wide receiving core is obviously Marv and Michael Wilson. But that third guy, right? That Zay Jones, Greg Dortch, potentially Xavier Weaver, we don't know. There's a lot of unknown if they can be that guy for the Cardinals. Like, you can get solid production from Keenan Allen. He gave you 700 yards for the Chicago Bears, 700 yards. Where Greg Dortch, unfortunately, and is it based off opportunity? Potentially, right? But Greg Dortch has not cracked, I believe, 400, or is it like, what is his most careered? His best year with the Cardinals was in 2022 with 467 yards. That's it. This last year, he had 342 yards, right? And like I said, it's not all his fault, but we need a guy that can constantly give you over 500 yards in yardage, right? Year in and year out. Michael Wilson, which going into his year 3, which I'm hoping he can finally break away from the 500-yard mark, he's only averaged about 550 yards both years he's been in the NFL. If he can go to that 700-yard mark, that would be absolutely amazing for Michael Wilson. But we need that next guy, right? We need that next guy. And for the people out there saying, well, we're a run-heavy offense. I mean, you're right there, but we also have packages that we got 3 wide receivers out on the field, right? So why not play to having that type of, formation out there and get the best available guys that we can that are still available right now? So yes, we are a run heavy offense, but that doesn't mean we don't have 3 wide receivers at a time, right? Or in case something does happen in terms of an injury, you got a good depth chart, waiting to get those opportunities, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts here on Keenan Allen? I would personally love the Arizona Cardinals to go all in and bring in Keenan Allen. That to me would be that cherry on top of the ice cream on an an already good off season for the Arizona Cardinals. Let me know here in the comments below. What are your overall thoughts? Put it in the comments. Appreciate y'all for tuning in as always. Have a great rest of your day and go Cardinals.